everyone and welcome back to a Stalker 2 video where today we're going to go into a deep dive of all of the journalist weapons I have access to. And when I say journalist weapons, I mean the list of seek and you shall find, but today we're just going to be covering the weapons and I might do a video of the armour later on. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. But there will be one notable exception from this list. It will be this one here, the early bird special, pre-order special of the VSS Venturas Veteran. Now, there's two reasons for this. One, I'm a broke son of a bitch and didn't buy the pre-order because I couldn't afford it at the time, nor did I think it was justified, because as much as I enjoy Stalker 2 now, I didn't think it was justified in getting it. And from all reports, it appears to be just identical to the normal in-game VSS, just a physical looks difference, just an aesthetic difference, and I don't think that justifies it under any circumstances. Most of this information I've got today will come to us via the Stalker wiki, the Stalker fandom wiki, and other things like that, and I can't stress enough how useful each one of these resource sources have been to me in making this video. I will link them always in the description down below. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off in the lesser zone. Now, you do not actually get access to the quest that links to the journalist stashes until you have completed a certain point in the main story mission called Needle in a Haystack. But once these missions finishes, you will get a notification of Seek and You Shall Find. And the first objective is to find a USB drive in your personal storage box, which you can find inside of Hamster's store. Once you find that, it opens up the mission. Obviously, when you first do it, you have to listen to this journalist's paranoid fanfic for about 15 seconds. But once that's over with, you get some nice little notifications about each and every individual location of every single journalist stash. Now, obviously, like I say, some of these have armor, some of them just have weapons, but we're just going to be focused on the weapons today. The first one is inside the Zalicia zone itself. Zalicia specifically is literally, I think, about 20 meters away from your home chest, and it's in the attic of this building. And inside that, you can find the PTM monolith, which is literally just a Makarov variation in monolith colours. And you get a mercenary suit in there as well, but like I say, sticking with the PTM monolith. Now, the PTM monolith is quite surprising at its actual capability. I have found it to be quite consistent, but I need to be honest, once it's fully upgraded, it's identical to fully upgrading Skiff's pistol. And Skiff's pistol can get so light that there's no weight, and you're not allowed to drop it because it's classed as a quest item. So realistically, unless you really give a shit about the monolith drip, Skiff's pistol, you might best off just sticking with Skiff's pistol. But like I said, I am pleasantly surprised by the capability of this weapon. Moving forward, you've got the Viper monolith, which is a MP5 coated again in monolith drip. You can find this in the lesser zone as well, just a bit north right, just on the border between the garbage and the lesser zone. And it is quite a good MP5. The MP5 itself is quite a good weapon, but the footage I am going to show you is proven of its inability of damage. But that's the problem with the MP5 against armoured targets, so obviously you want to run some AP rounds in this, and that's probably a lot better. Some simple additions such as damage increase, velocity increase, can also increase the ability of this weapon to perform. Basic red dot sight, maybe a suppressor, you can really get this thing to a useful state. Well, like I say, most of the time it's just dog shit in my opinion. Further along, we have the AR-416 monolith. Now, I am not the biggest fan of M4s in Stalker 2 in general, but this one, it does look absolutely tasty. This one is also in the lesser zone. It is right next to the IPSF. It's very similar to the Viper, very similar to the PTM in the monolith drip. It is quite a lovely looking weapon, but unless you really give a shit about the monolith colours, it is not worth your time under any circumstances, and I usually decide to fuck it off. It's not really worth it to me. Moving forward on again, so we have the 860 monolith. Now, this is the first journalist stash you'll find just inside the garbage zone, just to the right of the bridge. You need to cross this entrance to the garbage. So if you decide to side with the Stalkers in the earlier mission with Zalicia, you can get to this one quite quickly. It is just across the bridge, because this checkpoint only opens up if you side with the Stalkers in your first mission. The 860, I personally took this one on my playthrough, Stalker 2 story. You saw me run with this weapon and I was very happy with it. It's a very capable weapon. I was blasting heads off, point blank range. I think this was the best stash weapon so far, because it was the only one that made me just go, yeah, I'm taking that. Stupid to ask a question. With slugs in it, forget about it. There's no reason to ever worry about anything. Now we're moving towards the Ryman. The Ryman is a Chris Vector. So a Chris Vector is a 45 ACP firing SMG. Everyone knows what a Vector is, but obviously they can't call it that because of copyright reasons. But the Ryman is a black and red colour scheme on a Vector, and it's quite a nice weapon in my opinion. It usually equips a nice little suppressor. You can put basic sights on it, like the S.T.A.L.K.E.R, go with the red dot, any standard 22mm rail optic. And you can also stick an extended magazine on that, which you are going to need because the damage on this is absolute dog shit and the magazine is worse. It is absolutely fucking awful and not worth your time unless you want to fully upgrade it and run some AP rounds through this bitch, because it is absolute dog shit. And even then, I don't use it because it is not worth the effort it takes to get it to that point. Right, now moving forward, you got Lullaby. Lullaby itself is quite a nice weapon. I do really like this. It's based off of a bullpup rifle, like a Tavor, like an M.T.A.R. And I do actually very much like the Lullaby, but it's again, it takes a lot. The problem with Lullaby is, once again, it requires too many mods to get it to the state where I am comfortable with it. But it is quite a capable AR if you take the time, get the mods working for it, and, you know, put your own attachments on it and get comfortable with it. The same thing as the M4 or the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. It is a very much capable weapon if you are willing to put in the effort to get it to that point. Like I say, that is at the chemical plant, just above the burnt forest, at the chemical plant. Right, now, I don't like the Gaibin. I don't like it. I don't think it is worth it at all. You're best off just going for a VSS Vintar, because at least then you've got the range and you've got the CQB. In my opinion, it's not worth it. If you're going to run it as an assault rifle. That's all it is. And even if you can put a scope on it, you can. You can put a scope on it like you would with a PSO1 scope. It is not worth it in my opinion. You can increase the magazine size. You can attach other types of modifications to it. But in my opinion, it is not worth it. You're best off going for the trophy. If you want to run an assault rifle that runs 9x39, go for the trophy. And that's not even including the DLC. Moving forward, you've got the model competitor. Now, the model competitor is actually quite compelling. It is a Magnum, well, a revolver Magnum, based on the Rhino. I can't remember the exact design. I think it might be based on the Rhino. But I personally do not like the revolvers in this game. They are unsuppressible. They are quite useless in my opinion, and they're quite heavy. Now, with certain modifications, you make them more damaging and quite useful. But it still is not worth it in my opinion, because no matter what, you're always carrying around Skiv's pistol. You can make it weightless, but you can't drop it. So might as well use the cunt if you're carrying it. It's 9x39, which is the same ammunition that the Gaibin uses. It has an inherent damage towards armor, easy pen, and it's a one-tap, as you can see in some of these clips I'm going to give you. Now we're coming on to the final, in my opinion. The final, and I think it's the best journalist stash item, the Hunter. Now, I don't know the specific inspiration of this, but I like to choose as Captain Macmillan in COD 4. Now, the Hunter itself is a 308 chambered bolt action rifle with a scope, and it's called like a nice little ghillie wrap. This is the most aesthetically pleasing weapon, I believe, in this entire DLC. The shame is, you get it right at the end of the game, and you don't have any way around that. There's no New Game Plus option, so you can't even like replay with it at the start. So by the time you get to it, you've already probably got something that's upgraded to the point where it bypasses it, like the whip or something like that. And I absolutely adore the Hunter though. The design of it, the look of it, and the feel of it. But like I say, it's within the last final stash you get of the journalist, and in order to get access to it, or even be told where it is, you need to get all of the other journalist stashes. So you have to get them all, one by one, the armor and the guns, in order to get access to this. And I don't think it's worth the effort, the time. But it is a really good gun. It's just annoying that it is literally at the end of the quest. But like I said, it is my personal favourite, even though it does limit you to using AP or SS, which is the super speed ammo. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, this little compilation of different journalist weapons. Like I said, I just stuck to the weapons in this one, and I thought it'd be a good idea to do that, because the weapons themselves are, in my opinion, more interesting than the armour. Because once you get to, say, a diamond XO, the journalist armour doesn't matter for shit. I think the only journalist armour that's really, really good is the SP1 100M S.T.A.L.K.E.R one, but that's something else, and I'll do that in a separate video. But as always guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit subscribe down below and stay tuned for more Stalker 2 videos, more compilations such as this. But this video did take an absolute long time to make. This one took about 3 days of editing, recording footage, and re-recording voiceovers because I fucked up twice. Anyway guys, don't forget to click subscribe and stay tuned for any further content. And as always, thanks for watching. Cheers.